Hey there, welcome to Spiritual Psi-Kology with Renee McKenna. And I had the opportunity recently to have a great conversation with my friend Scott. In fact, he had me as a guest on his podcast, Scotch Talks, and there'll be a link to that full episode in my show notes. And he asked me a question about guilt and shame and service. And I like to talk about there being different kinds of guilt, earned guilt and unearned guilt. And I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with. Guilt can be really debilitating. I had a lot of struggle with guilt many, many years in my life. And after a lot of contemplation and inner work, I think that I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts about that and what we can do about it. So I hope that this is helpful to my listeners, and I think you'll enjoy the conversation between Scott and I about guilt, shame, and service.
Now that I'm sober, a year and a half, now that I have amazing people around me, now that I am walking into my own definition of G-O-D, spirituality, etc., I look around at what I do have, and also living a life of gratitude. I look at what I have, and it's easy to compare myself in San Francisco. You drive down the street, you see 70 people all sleeping out in the rain. Like, it's really bad. I look at what I have. I have a house. I don't have a house. That's a lie. I have a room in the house. I wish I had a house sometime. I have a car. I have amazing people by my side who support me. I have so many different communities. And this just started a year and a half ago when I decided to get sober. Beautiful, beautiful people. And like the quote unquote gifts of this life that I'm living are here. And a part of me feels guilt and shame for that. Driving down the street in San Francisco, 70 people on one block. No, that's a lie. 13 people on one block, all with their pants down by their ankles and sleeping in the rain. How is it that I can have these things? I don't know really what my question is, but it's like I feel guilt.
What's the guilt?
The guilt that I have this and they don't. Like this like privileged guilt for some reason. And so at all, do you feel that? Or have you had experience with people who have felt this? And like, what are ways to not feel that guilt, I guess, or shame, right?
You know, there's a work that I love. It's called The Path Work, and I refer to it frequently. It actually opened me to the idea of channeled material, which I had never been open to before. It's a series of about 250 lectures that were channeled through this woman, Eva Periakos, from the 1950s to the 1970s. It's available free online, The Path Work, thepathwork.org. It's very similar to Allies and Demons work. I really have come to believe what the Path Work Guide says, which is that the circumstances of our life are not coincidental. Okay. And that on a soul level, we have agreed to the circumstances of our life in a way that our conscious mind, our ego self, wouldn't understand and doesn't understand. And that on some, I don't necessarily think life is a school, but I think that we do agree to come here to do work. I do think this is a place that we do work and evolve, or not. And so, you know, people's race, people's culture, people's religion, people's, you know, birthplace of origin, their socioeconomic status, like that, I don't think that's coincidental on a soul level. Again, I believe in the continuity of the soul, which gives it a really different, it's a different perspective, right? So this isn't the only time through. There's been lots of times through.
Is that what you mean by the continuity?
Yes. So I believe in multiple lives.
Okay.
I mean, in that way, I'm very Buddhist, that I believe that ultimately we do this until we get enlightened and merge with the Godhead or the divine, and don't need to do this anymore. If I'm here and I have a body, I got problems I got to work through. That's, so even the enlightened ones, I don't have that much faith in, because if you got skin on and 2 legs, there's still stuff you're working out. I never lived on the street. I've been homeless more than once, as in not having a home. And because of the way that I've treated other people, if I lost everything today, I would have a place to live tonight. Mm-hmm. You would let me stay on your couch, right? Because you know that I'm a person of integrity and I've been kind to you. And if I know that you would do that for me. And you're not the only one. And I do that for other people. I've let lots of people sleep on my couch. So my experience is, and I've talked to a lot of homeless people, I bless them. When people ask me for money, there's a very Christian tradition, which is to give to those who ask from you. And I was instructed years ago that when someone asks me for money, if I have it, and it's convenient, I mean, anyway, you got to be careful, but I will give them money. I look them in the eye, and if I can, I touch them and I say, I hope things get better for you. And I look them in the eye, because I wish that for them. That's like a blessing I can offer for them. I believe that we do create our own circumstances. And most of the people who are homeless have cut out other people in their life. I have a very good friend who was homeless for 3 years, totally by choice. It was like one of the most amazing periods of time of his life. Now, I'm not going to say all homeless people are happy about being homeless, but I do know quite a few that it was absolutely a choice. And it was a positive choice for them to live in the park in a tent. And so, because they could live however they wanted, no rules. So I really reserve my own projections on what anybody's reality is. There's a lot of mentally ill people who would prefer to be out on the street rather than having to be medicated 24/7 and be strapped down to a bed. We each have our own path, and we don't really get to know what another person's path is. And my job is to do what feels right for me. Okay. And so if I feel guilt, there is a question of, what do I feel like I need to give back? Do I feel like I need to give more? Is there more generosity? I do a tremendous amount of service in the world. I mean, my life is dedicated to service. I think because of that, I know I'm doing the right thing for myself. There's earned guilt and unearned guilt, and having shame for our own experience in life is actually a way to reject it. I think, how do I own with gratitude? You spoke about gratitude. How do I own with gratitude what I have? And if I want to help those people, so like I ran a sandwich program for 2 years at my daughter's school, where I would collect sandwiches, and I would bring, it's so fun. As a matter of fact, I've been wanting to do it again. And I would bring sandwiches down to Haight Street and give them to the homeless kids down there, and bring them down to the shelter. And that, I know I'm doing what I can do for those people. So that would be that's a question back for you. Is there a call for you to do something for others who are less fortunate? I believe we are supposed to care for the less fortunate and give generously of what we have for the benefit of others. But I don't need to take responsibility for their circumstances.
Got you.
Because that's theirs. And that's their work. So that's my opinion.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I might take that out. I might not.
See what fits.
Yep.
Yeah. Take what you like and leave the rest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
ReneeMcKenna.com.
Okay.
Or email me at info@ReneeMcKenna.com.
And your book, Allies and Demons.
Allies and Demons, Working with Spirit for Power and Healing, is available on my website, through my website, and also on Amazon. Amazon, self-published, it's pretty amazing. KDP is amazing. And I have a lot of workshops coming up. I have Your Boat, Your Compass workshop for setting goals and intentions from your authentic self on January 25th, 2020. It's going to be here at my workshop space at my house, and that's going to have a 6-month follow-up of an open Facebook, a closed Facebook group, and monthly check-ins, so that you aren't just so that your boat has support and the compass setting keeps getting recalibrated. And then I have a lot of other workshops coming up. Transforming the inner critic into an ally, and working with your inner child. That's going to be in February. Okay. And so, yeah, lots of great workshops coming up. And
where can people find these?
So again, they can look on my website at reneemckenna.com.
And you have the workshops there.
And the workshops are on there, and there's Eventbrites to sign up. And yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome. And I have a weekly podcast myself, Spiritual Psi-Kology, that people can also find on my web. Everything's on the web.
I'm proud of you. You did it.
You were a big part of it, Scott. Really? No, you more than once held my hand when I was a wreck. And if it doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. And I'm stronger. It's good. Yeah. Do the hard thing. Do the scary thing is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for showing me how it's done. Appreciate it.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.